Good afternoon, lads. I think it's afternoon on your side, Casa,
Yes, sir.
Filippo,
Yep.
and I think Ruan, for you, it's towards the evening, right?
It's almost 6 o'clock. Yeah, well, it is 6 o'clock. Yeah, so yeah.
Nice, nice. So that's fantastic. Let's get ready for the week. As you all saw last week, our pre-markets were absolute fire. The calls were absolutely on point. Congo to Casa and Ruan for making insane calls. I think that we've really leveled up our game where pre-market analysis and market outlooks are concerned. And so I think that's a fantastic job that just proves the amazing traders that y'all are. And so I think Filippo also could testify to it. And Filippo has been crushing it after watching some of our videos, of course, and also his grind. So I think overall we can say that the pre-markets have been very helpful. I have had a lot of people messaging me saying that the pre-markets is actually what helped them make their setups for the week. And so I think that's the goal, right? Making the Forex community a positive place and a place where we can spread knowledge. So I hope all of y'all have had an insane week last week, trading wise. I mean, if you want to see our progress, guys, it's best to join our Discord server, and I mean, it's best to keep tabs on our Discord server. Like Casa, Ruan, all of us are always posting up our charts, posting up our results. And many times we are live trading during the London or New York session on the live trading channels. So I think keep your eyes peeled. If you do want to find some good trades with us, join us at the London session, right, Casa?
Yes,
So
sir.
so yeah, you'll find us at the London session where we have massive things planned as a trading community and as a trading group. So it's gonna be exciting, exciting times ahead. So yeah, so let's just jump into it. So get your charts ready. We're gonna absolutely break it down. We're gonna go from DXY down to GJ and gold, and we're also gonna break down EU, EJ, GBP, CHF, and GU. So definitely those are our major pairs that we look to break it down. And so let's just go with it. Casa, why don't you take us through with that DXY breakdown, which gives us the fire understanding of how the week is going to look?
Sure. So on the DXY last week, we saw a new yearly high be set in place, which is very, very major. We broke the previous yearly high and we just soared through, and with a huge Marubosa candle on the daily. It's also taken out these relative equal highs over here, and it touched this order block, this daily order block right here, and gave us a sort of doji candle, not really doji, but a small-bodied candle at the top of this move. So I'm expecting, especially considering we're in premium, so we're at the top 50% of this range. I'm expecting it to retrace a bit lower, perhaps into either this order block or take out these equal lows, and potentially these equal lows if the DXY is really weak. And just show some down movement for the first part of the week. Also, with NFP having been really, really bad last month, I'm expecting it to be a bit better this month. Obviously, it was 235k or something last month, and that was abysmal compared to the forecast. The forecast is a bit better this month, so I'm expecting on Friday to have a retracement. So I'd expect something like this on a weekly candle. So you'd have the open, a slight move up, and then you move down, and then because of the Friday NFP, like I said, I'd have a retracement, which would cause the pullback and then the close of the week right there. That's what I'd expect on the weekly time frame. Of course, it doesn't always play out like that, but what I'm definitely expecting is some kind of retracement after this huge push up and a tap into the order block. Where it might go, anybody could say, but I would expect at least a move into either below the 50% or ideally into this order block right there, which is further refined of the daily move in this OTE region right here. That's what I'd expect on the DXY. A pull back lower and then NFP retrace higher. and then continue the uptrend.
Yep, I think that looks good. So Casa, what we're looking at is actually a negative dollar till Friday.
Yeah, a negative dollar until either Thursday or Friday is what I'm thinking. I would like to see Monday play out based off of this. Of this huge move, and obviously in the huge moves in Euro USD, GBP USD breaking the weekly lows, the monthly lows. What I'd want to do ideally is to see how Monday plays out, and if Monday usually will tell us where the rest of the week will go. So if there's a stop on high on Monday, usually you'll see the rest of the week be bearish if you're already expecting a bearish market within the context of, order blocks on the daily, etc.
Yeah. So, Casa, just an interesting question because I see you following the models really closely. So, right at the top, that would be a smart money reversal, right?
Yes.
So, could we consider that an original consolidation to your sell model?
Yeah, so buy models can go into sell models. So let's say, one sec. So here, this was a sell model, yeah?
Yep.
But then this could also be, just ignoring this could also be a reaccumulation for the original consolidation to go into another sell model, even though this was also a buy model.
Yeah.
You see? This being a sell model, this could also be the reaccumulation and original consolidation of this buy model, which it did play out. So models do go into other models. So this could definitely be either a sell model going into a buy model, or this could just be, your original consolidation, break lower, your low risk sell would be here, go down lower, take out some kind of low, probably this, and then go higher to create a buy model.
Okay.
So something like just this, and then your smart money reversal.
Yeah.
The buy model.
Okay, so you're looking. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I agree with you there on the sentiment of DXY and the dollar, because we're definitely looking at some corrective moves. I mean, if Monday morning does show us otherwise, we're definitely gonna adapt and see.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
We've broken yearly highs, if I'm not mistaken, Casa.
Yep, we've created a massive new yearly high. This was the previous yearly high, and you can see you just sawed through it.
Yeah, like absolutely get wrecked previous yearly highs. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. We could come to retest those highs and continue up. What do you think, Casa?
Yeah, so in a bullish scenario, what could happen is we can see this order block as well, this sort of consolidation area. Let me just mark that out, which would be an order block on another time frame.
Yep.
What we could see is something like a pullback lower into not only this high, but this order block right there, and then continue up.
Yeah.
Creating higher highs and a higher low.
So personally, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect the yearly or the 6 monthly candle to fake out. So, I'm expecting it to actually continue up, as in because of pure manipulation. Like if we're looking at the news and everything, we are seeing a lot of manipulation, and so I definitely think that we have the potential to continue, especially with the new monthly candle already breaking the previous monthly. Has it broken, Casa? Not yet.
No, not yet.
So depending
we could see a retrace back into there to create efficient pricing and then go higher for sure.
Yep. So we've already opened up so far up there with massive bullish candles, showing us that we have that clean price action towards the left, Casa. And so, looking to target some of those highs would be actually interesting, or at least to fill in that nice big bearish clean move down,
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to see that happen. But yeah, definitely, I agree with you on the outlook that way on DXY. So I think, if and if you all have anything to say about it, like, I mean, Ruan, Filippo.
Yeah, 100%. If we look at the DXY, the higher time frames, talking about sort of monthly perspective and maybe even potentially the weekly, we can see that there's definitely some potential to the upside. If we look at it from a monthly perspective and we look at the bigger swings,
Yep.
we can see that we are in a bit of a discounted range if we look at sort of the bigger trading ranges that is currently sitting in the market, as we can see here, indicated by the pink and the blue line. So there is some potential to the upside, but I mean, we know that it's hyperinflated and there is quite a bit of manipulation being pushed into the market. And also a big thing that we need to consider for October is the date of the 18th, where the US government needs to make a call in terms of what are they going to do with their reserves and the printing of obviously more sort of fiat currency to stimulate and sort of help the US government out of their sort of financial dilemma.
Yep.
So we could definitely see some potential move higher up as indicated. I'm not saying that we are definitely going to go, but looking at it from an objective perspective, we could easily see a push up a bit higher. I mean, this is quite a big push, so I'm not saying it's going to make this massive run up, but it all depends on what the US government and the news around the 18th of October is going to do. I mean, it's about what? It's about 15 days away. So, I mean, to move 6% is going to be quite a bit. But we can also see from another perspective, we've built, sort of liquidity to the downside, which is another take where we could consider a slight push up into Monday, and then maybe Monday, Tuesday, see a move down potentially as well. From an objective point of view. So we just need to be mindful of these levels to see where price is going to go, and that will obviously set up our setups for the week in terms of the pairs that we will be viewing and trading on the day. But I mean, overall, I mean, cash is 100% with the models, and I mean, it's been proven throughout the last couple of weeks as well. So let's just see what the market presents. We don't want to try and predict the market. We purely want to react to what the market is showing us, so that we can be objective and take the right side of the trades.
I think definitely very important points brought out right there, Ruan. So guys, I think we're all pretty much on the same page where DXY is concerned. And I think, what Ankur also said about his outlook on the 50% retracement with Casanova and all of us is definitely on point. All of us are looking for those optimal trade entries, right? So we're waiting for that corrective move in order to jump in on some solid trades where GU and EU and everything is concerned, which with the other pairs it correlates with. So I think that's fantastic. Casa, why don't you run us through Euro USD, since DXY does impact Euro USD a lot directly.
Sure.
So that would give us this is actually going to give us an interesting approach to how, because a lot of SMC traders over here do trade EU on a consistent basis.
A lot of the SMC traders that I know are struggling with EU lately because the price action has just been so haphazard. Like if you go into the 1 hour time frame, the SMC traders that I know personally, they didn't have any trades in this sort of period here, none at all. And I think one of them had one over here, and that was about it. So the price action has been kind of terrible on the euro, but regardless, fundamentally the euro, they're expecting inflation rates to be higher.
But Kessa, to be honest, you and I discussed some fire trades on EU last week. I'm so sorry, but to be honest, you and I discussed some absolute fire trades on EU last week. I don't know if they caught it or not, but I think we really discussed some fire trades where sells were concerned and everything. Of course, there was that one day where you and Filippo decided to challenge me, and so I had to drive the market down the next day. But
it was just like I said, the price action was just so weird that nobody could really tell with any kind of clarity where it was going. Especially in this region over here. But regardless, with the DXY push higher, of course, Euro USD has followed suit, and we've seen yearly lows now put in place. But what I am expecting is you can see this buy model being formed right here. Now, if I go into the 15-minute time frame, it'd be a bit clearer. So what I'm expecting is a bullish Monday and Tuesday, coupled with DXY's bearish Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the reason why is because we've had a break of structure to the left, and we've got this breaker here, and the market is showing a strong rejection, a strong willingness to rally from these order blocks and breakers over here. The only thing that I would say is, like, the one thing that's worrying me is this structure over here, this structure which put in this initial low, hasn't been broken. So I'd ideally wait for this to be broken first, and then I'd be interested in going long. I wouldn't just enter cold here on market open. I would wait for Monday to show its hand before I interest myself in longs. Now, another reason why I'm thinking it's going to go long is because, of course, you can see this buy model being formed here, and potentially what we'll see is market going into this OTE range right here. As well as that, if you go into the monthly time frame, let me just clear this off. Just talking about efficient pricing. So usually there shouldn't be gaps between one candle's low, like in a bearish scenario, one candle's low, the next candle and the next candle's high. So there shouldn't be a gap here. That would be inefficient pricing. So what I'd expect is for price to fill that, to go up and hit the low of this month and then go down. I would expect a bearish week overall, but I'd expect a bullish Monday, Tuesday to start us off, and then maybe a Wednesday midweek reversal for a nice little sell-off from these order blocks over here.
Yeah, I think definitely to continue down, Casa.
Yeah.
We're gonna go grab way more sellers in your OTE region, which would be retesting the lows of the year, the previous lows of the year. So that would give us real good entries to continue down.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that too. Yep. I think that's fire. Is there anything more to this, Casa, that we are not seeing? So how could we look for this with regards to the models, Casa?
So with the models, as I said, this would be a buy model, or at least it's a buy model in the making. So we have an original consolidation right here. We see market sold off and broke the lows, originating over here. The reason why this would be the original consolidation and not this, or this, is because this was the final consolidation which caused this move down, which broke the yearly lows. So there's a lot of money being pumped in to the market over here, right?
So would that be a redistribution?
Yeah, this would be a redistribution as well, which it depends how you look at it. You could, some people, I know another person who's into the sell and buy models as well. They thought this was the original consolidation, but as I said, the reason why I think this is because it broke. This was the cause of the this was the origin of the break of the yearly lows.
Yeah.
Said the reason why I'm not convinced fully yet that it is a buy model is because we haven't had any convincing breaks of structure. I mean, you could argue this broke this structure, and this structure, but this is the major redistribution structure which I want to see broken before I interest myself in buys.
Yeah, I definitely think that's interesting, because if we can break that, then we're changing into a bullish market structure, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
And so I completely agree with that. I definitely think Euro USD is a short-term buy and a long-term sell.
Yep, for sure, I agree.
So traders who are looking to trade Euro USD, don't get yourself burnt. We've warned you all over here. And just in case we open the markets with a strong USD, you want to make sure to adapt to that too, where you may not get the pullback to an optimal trade entry for that matter. So I would say just be fluid in the market and adapt fast, and watch for market structure. Like Casa said, he's waiting for market structure to form in order to adapt it into his model and bias. So that would be exactly what you want to see. You want to see what the market is going to give you, and like Ruan also said, right? You don't want to be chasing trades. You want to be taking trades that are properly structured and looking at what the market is willing to give you. So definitely, Casa. That looks super interesting. So would that be the outlook on EU?
Yeah, the thing is, in a position like this, with the market going vertical and breaking yearly lows, us as retail traders, we're all kind of at a stalemate. You know, and on one side of you, you know, on one hand, you're thinking, well, shit, it's dropped so far and it's moving so quickly. This has got to be a downtrend.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you're also thinking, it's moved so far down, it's got to retrace at some point,
Exactly.
right? So you kind of just have to wait for structure, and you have to play cautiously. You need to understand there are tons of pairs. There are lots of opportunities. All you need to do is pick one model that looks right, and if you can find one setup, put size on it, and you can make whatever you need to make for the week.
100%. That's fantastic, Asa. Yeah, I think as the Euro USD analysis was absolute fire. You all should definitely pay attention to this and try to line your analysis with it. I hope this just gives you that much more confluence. So, Ruan, would you like to run us through GU? And yep, I think you're muted, Ruan. Hello. I don't think I can hear you. Ron, we can't hear you right now.
Is he muted? Oh, no,
I
that's-
don't think so. So let's see. I think Gio's gonna be an interesting pair to trade this week. I think, Ruan, we can't hear you still. At least.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah,
now
now
I
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
So it's maybe just settings. Let me run. Can everyone see my chart? Or is it loading?
It's loading as of now.
Let me go out and go in quickly.
So yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can load this bad boy up quickly. Okay, can you see it now?
Give me a second. Yep. Let's go.
100%, let's do it. Okay, so based on what Casa has mentioned and what we've discussed with the DXY, it's quite crucial that we look at the DXY to establish our move that we're going to take on GU. Looking again at higher time frames, similar to what I did last week, we can see that we're currently still in a downtrend, and we are looking at potentially, hopefully, breaking these previous highs to form some form of confirmation to the upside, as I feel we're in a discount on the monthly. Looking at the lower time frames, we haven't quite break structure to the upside on the daily. Similar to what EU we experiencing on EU, where there's not really been a strong confirmation for continuation to the upside. We can see on GU that we've broken structure to the downside, right? And we're busy forming this pullback. Now, that pullback could be into an optimal trade entry should we see price continuing further down during the week. Again, depending on what the DXY is got planned for us. So we could see potential trades into this area, maybe moving then further down. Or we can see, once we've had a clear sort of break of structure on sort of more significant or major levels, we could see price then forming a continuation to the upside. At this present time, it still looks a bit bearish to me. If we scale down to the 4 hour, which is something that I really like, we can still see a lower high formation forming continuously with lower lows being formed. So this would mean that at the current point in time, we are still looking at a bearish structure. But that could very easily change once DXY has decided to react, off those significant levels just above the previous yearly's highs. So we're being objective about it, same as what we did last week. Last week we made certain calls in the market outlook, and we saw that price reversed into the different direction where we just took the trades and adapted to the market. So we're going to be looking for similar setups in this week's formation based of that understanding of the market structure.
Yep.
We can see if we scale down obviously onto lower time frames on GU, we can see that price from a 4-hour perspective, we've had a break of structure to the downside. We are at a discounted price, which means that we are potentially setting up for a buy model. And we can see some potential on the lower time frames, but we'll have to wait and see what Asia session brings tomorrow, and maybe even London Open, to see if there's any setups formations for the longs, or whether we're going to have to adapt for continuation to the downside for some shorts. We also need to consider the news in some aspects to see what this NFP week will hold for us. So it's going to be interesting to see. But there's plenty of opportunities that we can see in the market. So no matter of which setup forms and which setup we're going to take, and what the best opportunity with the lowest risk is going to be for us to take safe buys or safe sells.
That sounds good. I like that outlook, Rowan.
100%.
That was objective and definitely both ways. Casa, would you like to show us what you were looking at? Yo, Casa?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
Forgot.
Let's go.
Right, so what I'm expecting here, obviously, you can see I've outlined the original consolidation, redistribution, your small money reversal over here. And so this is the first half, or just a little more than a half, of the buy model, which I'd be expecting. This OTE over here, coupled with this breaker, the OTE is marked from this high to this low, which obviously, like I said, also is in line with this breaker over here and this order block here. So it's a bit of a triple threat, really, which is why I'm expecting shorts off this level. But what I'm expecting on Monday is, because of this break of structure, this is a major break of structure, because this was the redistribution area, and we broke that really, really fast with speed. We also broke this order block over here, which has shown sensitivity in the past. So this is a major area for retracement. So this is exactly what I'm expecting on Monday. I'm expecting it to consolidate in Asia, put in a low, and then maybe if some form of SMT or a stop on low, and then I'll be looking to buy this stop on low into this breaker over here, an OT. And then over here, we may get some kind of smart money reversal. This would be where I'd expect the end of this buy model to be, and then we'd go into a sell model to take out this low over here. The reason also why I'm thinking of buys is because if I go on to the weekly time frame, just going back to what I said previously about efficient pricing, there shouldn't be gaps between one candle's wick, well, one candle's high and another candle's low, with one candle in between. So like over here, these two candles, this wick was there, or obviously at the open, this would be down here. It came up, filled this imbalance, and then went down. So I'm expecting the same thing to happen next week, to come up to this low, as I've already marked off as well, and then retrace it, and then trend downwards. But yeah, overall, like I said, a buy on the Monday, Asian consolidation, stop on low London, put in the high of the week, and then sell off.
Yep, I think that's definitely on point. And looking at what we have coming up this week, that should be interesting. I'm just gonna quickly just give my outlook on Geo. Also looking at Geo from a higher time frame perspective. So when we look on the monthly, this is what you'd call your smart money reversal, right, Casa? And we're looking at a change in trend, especially coming up to a previous section where we have reversed before, right? So typically right now we've exited that range. If you notice, like the previous month, which was in August, we did close below this consolidation that we had. And guess what happened? We're continuing slowly. So yeah, I would definitely expect short-term buys in long-term sells, possibly back down to these regions, and especially from what we've been talking about, you can see how much of volume is sat right over here. You see this level where it continuously price doesn't fail to impress us where that is concerned. One second. Right there. So you see what I mean?
Yo, DC.
Yo, what's up?
I'm sorry, are you streaming?
Yeah, my camera's on, if I'm not mistaken. It's not? Okay, one second.
Oh, I don't.
Can you all hear me and see me?
Yep. I don't know if it was just me, but yeah. No, I
Yeah,
can.
no, I think it was me. Yo, lads, next time tell me when you can't see me, alright? Alright, so again, over here, look at on the monthly time frame, just going through it again. This is what you'd consider your SMR, right, CASA in your model, which we
Yeah.
have done previously at a previous original consolidation of a cell model. So on the monthly time frame, you see we have consolidated, we broke out of consolidation and we had continuation in September. So this is what I'm expecting, right? A small pullback, a retracement, and a continuation, which kind of lines up with what you and Ruan had said, where we have short-term buys and long-term sells. Only because when you look at our favorite volume indicator, right, you can see where the volume is sat at, right? And so I'm just looking at it from higher time frame because, right, you see a lot of these, right? Consolidation, and we have these pullbacks down here. So I'm definitely looking for, I would personally say I'm looking for better shots, especially like when you look at higher time frame, you are seeing that we are continuously moving down, right? So for me, that would be very important to follow the trend, only because, yeah, the trend is your friend, right? And so we're looking at USD being very manipulative, not only because they want better efficient pricing, but right now there's a lot of political instability. And so what you want to make sure is you're not trying to trade during economic data sessions, because that's just dangerous, as seen with USD can be massively impulsive. You know, some people who've put in buy stops and sell stops, both of them have got activated, and you know, they're completely wrecked from that moment on. So I definitely think that we should be careful of what we see, but again, on the weekly time frame, you do have this region of massive uncertainty, right, where we have had corrective moves to continue up. So I just say, you know, from a higher time frame perspective, we look good to continue back down. But from an objective perspective, you want to remain always objective in the market. So you want to be careful of some of these regions. Like if you notice right over here, we've tapped into it and we look like we're rejecting it, right? That could be this previous highs in these OBs in this region. So that's why I would say you want to be really careful and objective when you trade. I'm looking for a retracement to get some optimal trade entries just to continue down, because if you notice right over here, we were trying to make lower lows, right? So we did come back down, but we couldn't break this. We went up, we couldn't form a higher high, we formed a lower high, and when we came back down, we broke all the previous lows. We're talking about we're talking about 224 days of lows. All right, and so we need to be really objective when we're looking at this stuff, and seeing that we have broken very significant lows, giving us maybe some of these impulsive sells, right, back down. So that's what I'd primarily be looking at. I think what do you think, Casa and Ruan?
Yeah, that's definitely in line with my analysis. A retracement long into a trending short.
Yep.
100%. I'm also expecting some move up for shorts on GU. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it all just depends on what DXY is going to do and how we get the setup formation for the week ready on Monday / Tuesday. So, let's see what comes of it.
100%. So yeah, so I think that was GU for us, and that was fantastic. So I think let's move on to GC with Ruan. So Ruan, you mind running us through GC?
100%. Let me do that. Just let me know if you can all see my chart.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, let's have a look. Looking again from a higher time frame perspective, right? What we can see is that the market structure is still pointing down. If we go down to sort of the daily, we can see that prices ranged a little bit and haven't given us a clear breakdown. We did mention about 2 weeks ago where we said that there was engineered liquidity on this run up, which we've now taken out quite nicely and traded into this order block here for optimal trade entry last week only. But I think we need to be, yeah.
Ruan, just before you continue that, guys, we call those cells right from the top. We call the reversal right from the top, calling out impulsive cells right to that bottom. So
Yes.
if you all have been with us at pre-market analysis, we have called those cells out to the freaking T. I think Casa and all of us said, it's time for those impulsive cells to come in. And as y'all can see, the impulsive cells came in. So if you're concentrating with us, you're making bank for the week. So yeah, Ruan, you can go for it.
100%, yeah. So as we mentioned, we saw potential to these engineered liquidity levels that I've deleted from 2 weeks back, which we saw play out last week. But what I want to point out is this engineered liquidity that's being built up on the top and the bottom, which makes us obviously super cautious in this market, even though we can find obviously really nice setups within this trading range. We just need to be mindful that we could have a break of structure to the downside or maybe to the upside. I mean, the downside would be a higher probability at this point, but we just need to see what DXY is going to do and what price is going to do, because we could also see a potential reversal up, whether it's to this order block here, move down, go back up, and then sort of play around in this range if we don't see a clear break of structure to the upside or even to the downside, to give us some form of AMD or confirmation for continuation. What we can see at the current point in time, apart from this sort of arranging setup and grabbing of liquidity, we know that there's something's brewing here for a bigger move. We can obviously note, as I've mentioned in the previous webinars, there is quite a bit of liquidity to the downside. I'm not going to highlight all the zones that we could potentially see them take out once we see clear reaction out of this range. I'm not saying we're going to take the first breakout, which could be a breakout and retest scenario. Not that I personally look for the break and retest scenario, because in some cases we see a typical banker strategy where it will fake out to the original intended side and then reverse to the opposite side before continue into the originally intended move of smart money.
Yep.
So I think for this week on this pair, we just need to be cautious of where we are in the market and look at a market structure for a clear confirmation for a setup to see where we're going to form. So there's two possible scenarios, but we will have to just double check and see. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Maybe Casso's got some more insight on it as well. But that is my take based on my observation of the market structure and the current situation with the market. Even if we look at lower time frames, if we look at the current trading range, we are in a bit of a discount. So this could potentially give us a buying scenario into sort of an optimal trade entry or this higher order block before continuation down back into the trading range. But I would be very cautious to see what this pair is going to do for us this week.
Yep, I think Ruan, what I could agree with you on is what we're looking at right now at I'm definitely looking at GCHF as a point of where we could break the lows and continue, especially since we're looking for GU cells too, like Casa mentioned. So using that in correlation, we saw GU drop twice last week and the week before last. And look at what we saw in GCHF. We saw a drop, a retracement, a corrective move, a consolidation, and a drop again. Right? So if we're expecting another drop, that next drop on GU could also lead GBP CHF to breaking that important key level 1.25 flat. And so once we break 1.25 flat, we could possibly continue down to the downside, which after a really long time breaking the lows of basically a range could give us really nice impulsive sells down, to bottom ranges and bottom key levels. So I'm definitely looking at some GBP CHF sells. Casa, what are you looking at?
I will be looking at least in the short term, GBP CHF buys. The reason why is because we've created obviously a new higher high in comparison to this high over here. So a higher high, and then when we came down into this 4-hour order block over here, which I'll zoom into for everybody, this order block right here, and if you look at the reaction, we had two really, really strong reactions to it. And not only the reaction was strong, but the displacement away. So displacement meaning a very, very quick rally away from this order block. It's showing me that the institutional order flow has turned bullish, at least in the short term. So what I'd expect for it to happen is for it to retrace maybe an Asian consolidation with a stop and low rise from the breaker. So the reason why I'm using this as the break is because this was the last up candle before this down move, which took out this low. As well as that, we have SMT with GBP USD. GBP USD created a low and a higher low, where GBP CHF created a low and a lower low. So this shows bullish momentum in GBP as a whole. So in the short term, like I said, I would be expecting it to retrace lower. Maybe an Asian consolidation, London stop and low. If I get that, I will be buying into the London stop and expecting it to go higher into the optimal trade entry of this swing low here. What could potentially happen though, it may not just be a short term bull run. It may be a longer term bull run. What we may see happen is this being the higher high, this being the high, and then us creating this higher low over here, and then creating a higher high, potentially. Now, I just want to see how Monday plays out. If I get those short-term bulls, I will be exiting as soon as I hit the optimal trade region.
I think also, Casa, we could use that in confluence. Like if we're expecting a strong USD, right? Then we could be definitely looking at these fair haven and safe currencies, which is CHF, right? CHF and JPY, gaining a lot of strength too. But also remember, many times when USD is taking all the glory, a lot of financial institutions are investing in USD and not the fair haven. So that gives major currencies like GBP and AUD and stuff strength, which could break market structure and stuff like that. So that's where I think I would definitely agree with Casa on these buys. So so I'm in alignment with that. So I think Ruan, could we all agree on GBP CHF analysis put out here in the group?
No, 100%.
So we had Ruan call out certain amount of buys, and definitely because we're at the discounted side of the range, we had him also speak of sells below this range, and that was the same thing I'm personally looking for. Personally, I'm a little more comfortable with the sells in that range, and definitely I agree with Casa's buys also. Looking at it objectively, where we are at the bottom of the range and we are looking at the way price action is showing us beautiful buys back up to different optimal trade entries, even to take shots back down. But definitely you don't want to waste opportunities, and sometimes you want to jump into these buys too. So I think that was fantastic, Casa and Rohan.
Cheers.
I think, Casa, take us to EJ, man. EJ has been a very interesting pair. Man like Casa, banged it out with 115 pips, I think. Was that 120 pips?
So it ran to 140, and then I got out at 121.
There you go. Simple genius moves from Cass over here. And
So as I outlined a couple weeks ago, we were in this daily sell model right here. Let me just get off this daily sell model. So you have the original consolidation, reaccumulation, smart money reversal, redistribution, and potentially another area of redistribution here. Now, the reason why I think it's a redistribution, despite this break of structure over here, is because if you look at the break of structure, none of the candles really closed above. We only had wicks above. So that's all makes me suspect that it's more of a mitigation of this order block over here, as well as liquidation, stop hunts, whatever you want to call it, of these highs over here. And we've also created these equal lows, which are very, very flush, very obvious. So potentially what we could be seeing with Euro USD being shorts as well is further shorts, taking out these equal lows, going back into the original consolidation and completing this sell model. That's what I expect in the longer term. In the shorter term, just going on to the 1 hour time frame, what I would be expecting, this was the position last week, by the way. It barely gave any. The drawdown was just the spread. I originally had my position up here, but because of some people, I had to delete it. guys, tell me if I should ban Filippo, guys. But regardless, I entered over here at the breaker plus the order block, and we had a really, really nice stress-free run down into 121 pips profit. So what I'm expecting in the short term is a retracement, potentially into potentially liquidating these relative equal highs over here.
Yep.
So something like this, like an Asian consolidation with London stop on high, and then drop for the rest of the week into these equal lows and take them out as I planned in this position. Because we are in a sell model as well. So you have the smart money reversal of this buy model plus original consolidation with your breaker here, your reaccumulation, your smart money reversal with a breaker rejection right there. I'm expecting this to be the redistribution for a stop on high, drop into the equal lows as I marked off here.
Yep. I think that's exactly what I'm looking for, Casa, because that aligns up with my GJ analysis. And if we notice, we did the exact same thing on GJ. We've just been falling and we've absolutely been having our way with it. And so I think I would agree with that on EJ, because the JPY has just shown some insane strength. So I think, I could definitely agree with you on that. And so from a model perspective, what do you think, what level do you think we're at, Casa?
So the reason why I wouldn't trade this, even though it's in a very, very clear sell model confirmed by this, is because if I take this Fibonacci just to see if we're in discount or not, of this range we are below the 50% level, meaning we are in discount. So in discount we want to buy, in premium we want to sell. We're not in premium at all. If we do retrace into premium and potentially go to this low created by the reaccumulation, we may be able to sell off here into these equal lows. But if we remain below the 50% level, I'm not going to be interested in entering shorts so low in the range. However, people who like to live dangerously, you could wait for a, like I said, an Asian consolidation, a stop on high in London, and a drop.
Yep. We don't want to stop those cowboys. But
exactly.
Be careful. But I think I agree with that. What's your take on, Ruan, what's your take on EJ?
I definitely agree with Casa on that one. We are quite low in the range. Yes, we could see a pullback up slightly higher. But I do look at sort of that lower levels for maybe optimal buy entries on this. I wouldn't be looking for sells right now. So pretty much my analysis would be exactly the same as Casa on that.
All right, fair enough. So we're all in agreement. So lads, be careful of EJ if you're trying to sell it so late. remember, you always want to sell high and buy low. So if you've missed this massive move down, don't try to catch another massive move down unless price action proves itself to show you that we are going to move down. Because yeah, a lot of people who missed this first initial trade are now bummed and are going to FOMO it right now. So you want to be careful of that. And I think yeah, that works out perfectly with what I actually have planned for GJ, which let me just share my screen now. Alright, so can you see my screen on GJ? So yeah, so you know I like to break it down live. So right now, going from the monthly down, we are now tapping this region which we have tapped consistently since April. We've tapped it in July, we've August, September, and now October. We did tap it before closing the week. So that would be my 149,500 level, which is a very key level in this region. We've seen multiple reversals. On the weekly time frame, you can see how well it aligns up. So using this monthly level, which if you notice that we continuously have tapped this region on GJ at I would say the 600 level, 152 600. We formed a resistance, we broke it, we came below, we retested it in the previous month of September and did continue down. On the weekly time frame, looking at GJ, we can slowly start readjusting our levels. We look to align it with GJ's key levels itself, right? Understanding that GJ does respond to some of its own key levels like the 152 200 region. You can see it's been reacting to it since March, right? 152 200 right there. So that is a key level on GJ and we are looking. So when we took shots off this level, I had massive shots all the way from the tippy top and we did come down around 375 pips. So when we look at it, we've all been trading these ranges right over here, just following the we are following strategies and what the market is showing us again and again. So looking at the daily time frame, 152 200, again it's a fact that we've been tapping that region. On the daily, we've seen that we have come into the 149 500 region multiple times and always failure to close below, right? So we had a small close below, but the weekly still hasn't closed below, my bad, hasn't closed below. So when we look at the daily time frame, what we do notice is we have our low and now we have a higher low, right? So right now what we're noticing is that the daily just rejected super hard and this candle has closed higher than the previous daily candle. So what we're going to look at is, would this be a retracement, right, on GJ, just because we started the new month, right, in October to create that top wick. So if we look at the monthly, like I said, we came into this region which we have previously reversed from to continue down, right? And now we have broken out of that region. We have a really nice bullish move down. The previous month on September, we have failed to break previous highs, but we have broken previous lows. So we could be creating the top wick for the month of October to continue down and break previous lows in order to give us that bearish momentum to fill in this beautiful price action towards the left, right over here, possibly to these regions right over here. So that's what I would be expecting, to get some of these sells back down once we close below this range. But we firstly need the weekly to break this market structure to continue down. So on the daily time frame, as we've discussed on GU and everything, I am definitely looking at getting some of those buys up, right? Because again, we are in the bottom 30% of the range, right? We are in this bottom 30%. So we definitely want to buy in discount and sell where we're a little higher. So when you look at it, we are looking at coming to perhaps the 200 level. So let me just go to a more significant time frame. So yeah, so we could definitely pull up to the 500 mark, 151 500. So what you notice at 151 500 is previous reversals. So right over here you see We tried to break above, we closed below, we retested, we continued down. We tried to poke right through, we came back down. So that's definitely one of the levels I would be looking at to sell at. Um, Looking at Casanova's favorite indicator and my current favorite indicator. So we are looking at these levels up here at 152 flat 2, where the volume is sitting at, right? So you would typically be expecting something like this, a small consolidation and then continuation downwards. So that's if it plays out exactly the way we spoke about DXY everything, right? So that's the way we would be looking for GJ setups. As you know, like we trade GJ day in and day out, so looking for your setups is very important. Um, but definitely what I'd be looking for this week to set up would be on the weekly time frame is if we could break below, or are we gonna start now changing trend and break in highs. All right, so that is something we are definitely looking at very crucially on GJ, because we have seen a strong yen. You can see we have gone right up to 152 200 and slammed right back down. And so last week we had called out live in the London session sells from this level. We called out multiple sells that CASA also called out, which were retracement sells right over there. And on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, I called out sells from here. CASA called out sells on Tuesday night from there at the 150 level, right from the tippy top. And yeah, we had beautiful buys on Thursday right over here, just adapting to the market, doing our thing and vibing out. So it's definitely very important to keep in mind everything that's going on in the market and adapting to the market. So right now we have absolutely been destroying GJ. So what I would say is we need to now be careful since we are in this bottom half of the range. We want to make sure to see, like, if you look at CASA's models, this was pretty much our SMR, right? We had pushed up to our previous original consolidation. We had our redistribution, right? And now we're definitely looking CASA at what we could call a smart money reversal also, right?
Yep.
And a reaccumulation back up to these levels. So you want to be careful. If price does continue to give us bearish market structure and break below, then I would definitely be continuing with my sell bias and selling GJ in order to like I said, fill in this higher time frame clean price action that we have towards the left. All right. So what you notice that every time we had clean traffic towards the left, we have filled in the clean traffic, right? Volume zones. So definitely looking at this region where we have had this clean traffic, I'm definitely looking to optimize if we do get bearish market structure on lower and higher time frames to confluence my seller bias on GJ. So I think looking at this, we can all agree that the only way we'd be able to confirm buys up on GJ would be 1 minute. Would be Monday morning break above this region right over here. So we need that break and confirmation to stay above this level to continue up, right? So that would be an ideal scenario where we need to break above this level and perhaps give us some various confluences to continue back up. But until then, we have still remained below this level. We have formed a consolidation, and a break of those lows right over here at GJ's key significant level at 0.200 is going to give us some massive sells back down, because that means we would be able to fill in this clear price action, which could potentially lead us to our seller bias, which is the break of previous lows to continue down. So that would be my outlook on GJ. Casa, what do you have to say?
I wouldn't be looking to trade it personally, at least in the first part of the week.
Yeah.
Simply because what's worrying me is this. 1 sec. So you can see how price 1 second. I'll just outline a couple more things. Right. So price came down into this order block right here. This fat down candle where a lot of volume has clearly come in. And rejected it really, really strongly and had a displacement up and breaks of structure. Well, minor breaks of structure rather. Creating this breaker with this order block sat underneath and these liquidity zones here. But there's also this trend line here, a trend line phantom as ICT would call it, as well as this liquidity void here.
Yep.
So there's lots of liquidity sat above, and I don't think, even though I think that the buyers would be bearish in the long term, I don't think the institutions would be looking to go down without mitigating their positions first. So it could go either way, but one scenario that could play out is something like this, where, 1 sec. So it goes into the breaker or into this order block here, rise up, take out this trend line liquidity, and or fill this liquidity void and then reverse downwards, or it could just go straight down. So it could go either way. That's why I'm not really looking to trade in the first part. I'd like to see how Monday plays out in its entirety first. If Monday is a stop on low for a rise, or if Monday is a stop on high to start off the week, and then on Tuesday their reversal lower to give us a bearish week.
Yep, I definitely think the same too, because after all we are waiting for price action to play out to give us our opportunity. So 100% Casa. Ruan?
Yeah, I do agree with Casa on that. If we look at the weekly, what I've also noticed, and I saw it on your chart as well, because I know sometimes we use different charts, is there is a bit of indecision forming. Maybe it was on the daily. So on the daily, I know Casa pointed out these highs as well. So we haven't really, cleared any break of structures to the upside. We formed lower highs essentially, and then we've got a higher low formation at this level where we've respected this order block. So we're in a bit of a sort of indecision at this point in time, and I'd like to see what sort of the first part of the week would bring, to see if there's clear indication of a continuation to the downside or upside. I mean, from a liquidity perspective, there's quite a bit of liquidity closely engineered to the upside on various levels here that, for me personally, would make sense to first come and grab the liquidity to the upside before we see a continuation to the downside. But again, we're not trying to predict the markets. We're purely looking for valid setups for each strategy to see. Also, what we can see from a pure price action point of view is the current pin bar or rejection candle, as Casa pointed out as well, I believe. It's engulfed the previous real body candle, and we've got a long wick rejection that sort of rejected this order block, the 4-hour order block here, which for me, signals a potential continuation to the upside. But again, we're sitting with this sort of indecision of this lower high formation here and then this higher low formation here. So we need to see what price wants to do sort of out of this range, whether it be a fake out and a stop hunt to the downside or upside. That we'll have to see. But once we've got some more clarity, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday side, we can 100%. Make a clear decision of where this is going. But at the moment, I wouldn't look at personally entering this right now. We'll see what.
Yep. I think, that was very important points noted on GJ, where we have had a little bit of indecision. And we're definitely looking at capping on a lot of those trades that we do see. So now we have cleared EJ, GJ, we've cleared GBP, CHF. Let's just take a quick look at gold. Then so that's pretty much our outlook on GJ. And so when you for me personally, because I trade GJ a lot, I would say that if you're a scalper, 1 second, in my analysis, someone, Ankur, Ankur has said something. In my analysis, I do think it can create a third touch to the small trend line to generate more liquidity. All right, fair enough. So I definitely think so too, Ankur. So anyway, so looking at it, if you're a scalper and if you're not swinging the positions, then I think on GJ when it moves, it loves to move. So if you notice, like right over here, that's 70 pips, right? So you have clean price action for 70 pips coming down to this previous order block region. So if you're a scalper, you can be quick in and out. And as you all see, I keep posting various scalps that I take on GJ, especially because I just follow market structure and price action. So clearly on market structure and price action, you could definitely see how many of these things could play. And also remember, this was the 1st of October's price action, which many times the 1st of the month is massive manipulation due to previous day profit taken, previous month profit taken, and looking for setups for the next month, right? So that's why let's just be careful of the markets right now, since we are in the opening days and the opening leg of this new month in October. And remember, we are in Q3. Sorry, Q4. We're in Q4. We're in quarter 4, and that's amazing because we're coming to the end of the year, and we could see some amazing trade opportunities present itself. When is the European summer, yo? Casa?
European summer.
Yeah, so I heard something about European summer approaching, so I think the markets will slow down for a little while.
The summer is next year in March.
Okay, then I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
we're heading into winter. We're heading
Yeah.
into winter now in
Oh,
Europe.
my bad. Yeah, sorry, winter. I don't know why I said summer. My bad. So apparently there's a holiday season that comes up, and so the markets do slow down. They said, I don't know if it was October or November is what they called out, where many of the financial institutions take a small break. So that's where we'll need to be careful, where pairs like GJ and all, if you noticed on some of the time frames, especially previously, you could get stuck in a tiny range for a really long time and absolutely get battered by it, right? So that was something like this. We were just stuck over here for a solid, for a week, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 20 days, my bad. So that's like 2 weeks. So when you look at it, you want to be careful of those seasons where you don't have much liquidity in the market and much volume in the market. So definitely, I would say do your due diligence where it's concerned, where you have to find out what economic fundamental data and various things are going on throughout the world in order to give your trades more confluence and in order to be in the market at the right time, guys, because that's very important to be in the market at the right time. And anyway, so moving on to gold. Gold is something we look at psychological levels and absolutely enjoy it the most. And I think, you know what, let me just mark it up for you. We're looking at the monthly time frame. The same levels I normally mark on gold, that's 1680. 1910. Because gold is literally just trading in this range for now. When we go to the weekly time frame, we do see it right here at 1745. I've called this 1745 level out so many times, it's not even funny, for reversals. Because what we have noticed that previously, right, we have this high right over here, and it's a psychological key level for reactions. So that's why you can see that we've tapped into it so many times. And we have 1830 on gold, and looking at these previous lows right over here, we have 1725. 1725 I called out with Casanova live on one of the sessions as a key reversal point on the daily. Yeah, remember this, Casa? So
Yeah.
we called it right from the bottom, from 1725. So when you look at it, we've moved up around 400 pips almost from that region. So looking at it, guys, all you need to do with gold is focus on the plan and back test it before you try to jump into trading gold full time. Because remember, it is a very volatile pair. You can have one daily candle which gives you 400 pips, right? You don't see that on any other currency pairs, so you definitely want to be careful. And so with buys, I definitely want to be careful between this region of 17. There you go. That's my level of caution right over there. Let's say 1787. Yep. So that's my level of caution right over there between 1775 to 1787, because that's where we have seen price go back, right, and create massive rejections from that region. And so you don't want to get caught in 120 pip range, right, of uncertainty, because you can see what did price do. Massive uncertainty in this region, uncertainty in this region, uncertainty. We had a breakthrough and we continue with the uncertainty, right? So perhaps once we break above this region, right, then you could possibly get some good buys back up. But what we're looking at on gold is we have equal highs right over here, right? And we're looking at USD strength, right? So that's what Casa pointed out where the DXY is concerned. So that would mean that this is a retracement on gold to continue down, right? So we could definitely look at different levels. That's 1765 and 1760. So you notice this region 1765 and 1760 is a key zone. In fact, you can see we've reversed from this region quite a few times, and so that would give us confluence to take some sells back down. And that again, when you look at it on lower time frame, we have our consolidation right over here. Right over here, and if we have a break below this level, we're just gonna have a massive move down. Why? Because this is a volume region in gold. Okay, so that's what you can see. Every time we enter below 1745, we got this massive volume that is just waiting for us. So that's why I would say if we do come back down after the retracement, we are just gonna fall really hard, only because that's the way gold moves. If you notice, right, gold has massive impulsive sells and retracements, especially on market manipulation months, days, where we do have market manipulation in the form of like NFP, FOMC, unemployment, etc., because none of us can really confirm that news, but it is what data they put out, so we just go with what data they put out. So if you notice, we came into this region previously, we broke out, we retested, and we had a sell-off, right? So that is primarily what I would be looking at over here, considering we have these rejection wicks to the top side, right? So that would be my sell bias below this level. But if we do continue up again, you want to adapt to the markets and look at higher time frame analysis on how we could re-enter this range up over here, right? So this is our range, right? And so we will need a weekly candle to close back into this range in order to travel back up to these highs, right? So that's just pure price action, guys, just showing you what could be possible. So to give yourself those higher probability trades. And so that's what I would personally look at gold, and I would definitely be careful with gold, because remember, if you're new to trading and you do try to pursue gold, it could really burn the bank straight to the ground. And so be careful with gold and make sure that your analysis is in line with what we're calling out. Don't take our analysis blindly and take the trades we call out blindly, because what we do want to create is a community which is confident in their own analysis. All right, and so that would be my outlook on gold, guys. If you want to add anything, feel free to add something. And yeah, so that would be my outlook on gold. Just looking forward to this week, looking at my key levels on gold, looking at how it's going to play out. and trust me, eventually it's gonna be an absolute banger of a week. So yeah, so Casa, Ruan, all good?
Yeah, all good. I don't have enough experience on Go to be able to give analysis on it, but
No problem.
I'll let you handle it.
No problem. So yeah, so there you go. We have broken down DXY, EU, GU, GBP, CHF, EJ, GJ, and gold. So those are the major currency pairs we've broken down for you all. Feel free to scroll back anytime or contact any of us on Discord in order to get our opinion on a particular chart or a particular trade. We have no problem with that. What we are doing is we have an elite group which is working on a certain method of trading as a community, and what you will see is the results posted in the free channel where you can see the elite results of every trade we're able to call out on this market outlook and every trade we're able to get as a group. So that will be opened up to the public eventually, but keep your eyes peeled to the announcements where we will be announcing some massive moves where we're making big moves as a community together. And so I'm definitely excited for this week. Last week was an absolute banger. I think, Casanova and I were trading very closely with the members of our group on Discord. So if you're not on Discord, you definitely want to join our Discord. And we traded very carefully with them. Casa called a load of trades on many pairs. I think it was Casa. You called it on EA, GJ.
So at the
EJ.
beginning of the week, I called out EG, GBP, CHF, which were
Yeah.
both wins. Euro AUD, which I took partials on and it took me out of break even. Euro JPY and GBP JPY for sells, which both ran to which GBP JPY ran to its TP,
Yep.
and EJ I had to exit because the weekend at 121 pips.
Yep, for sure. And also with Casa, I called out around 4 to 5 GJ trades, which surprisingly we didn't even hit one loss last week. We were absolutely on point with our analysis last week, so that was fantastic, guys. Just showing consistency. Like Casa explained his EJ trade, and a lot of us did jump in on that EJ trade. I personally didn't, but I know quite a few guys from the group who did, and it was a solid EJ trade because he broke it down right from the beginning to us on why he's taking it, why the limits, everything was explained. Same thing on Thursday, I think it was Casa, where I broke down the GJ trade right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And took it live with the guys, and it went up around 20-25 pips on GJ. So that's just what we do, guys. We come together to create a community which we're able to help each other understand why and how we're taking these trades. We're not selfish with the way with the knowledge we have. So if you want to join us on Discord for our live trading sessions, feel free to join us. But on the other hand, trade safe, trade your plan. Don't take our analysis blindly. Do your due diligence. If you get burned, it wouldn't be on any of us. It's you not doing your due diligence. And if you ever need any help, feel free to hit us up on Discord. I'm Alpha. You have Casanova and everything on the group. So if you look at it, you have the elite traders who you can message personally to get their feedback on a trade or a thought process or a certain concept we spoke about, which you probably didn't get. And we're more than willing to help. I think, Garuan and Casa could vouch for that because these guys help all of us who are in the trading channel. And so let's keep the positive vibes up definitely on the Discord server. Let's not bring in any negative energy, I seen last week by a few other traders. But I'm happy that we as a community are able to progress forward. We're able to see results. And this week is going to be even more intense only because of where we are moving, right? We are only getting better. We are trying to sharpen our skills and only get better. So from a YouTube point of view, we're going to see you next week. And to keep up with our posts and our trades, feel free to join us on Discord. And we shall see you all next week. So take care and see you all.
See you later.